Hello traders, welcome to a crypto market update. We have the TikTok live going as well as the YouTube live as well. So it's going to be a good day today. Just going to change the title on here and then we'll get a few people going and then we'll start. So I am answering questions on TikTok as well as YouTube. I just posted it in the Discord, so I wanted to maybe give it 30 seconds to maybe a minute to see a little bit of people come in, and then we will start the market update. We will start with Bitcoin like always, and then we'll move on to the different alts as we go along. Crypto. March 11th. All right, so basically I got one person here. Gonna wait for a few more people. We got 6 people online on TikTok that we currently have, and then we just got another question. Do you have a track record? Yeah, I've been trading for years. I do have a track record of being consistent, hence I'm being able to do this for a living. But in terms of having a exchange linked to, for example, if you're trading Forex, my FX book, or if you're using equities, there are certain programs. I don't think there are any in crypto that can directly link an account, but we do post every single trade that we take. We provide signals. Every single trade I take, I post within the Discord to the Performante Premium members. So there's transparency in every trade I take. I'll describe why we're taking trade management through and through, as well as the completion, why to take profits where we did, what we could have learned and done better for the next time, and all that stuff. So at this point, I think we will start it. We've been kind of holding off for 2 minutes here. Got 3 people on YouTube, got 6 people on TikTok, so we're just now going to get started. The first asset we are going to be looking at within this market is going to be BTC. Like always, we like to look at the larger time frames and then start zooming in. So we're going to go off the weekly to start. We've already talked about the weekly for this whole week here, and we see that we are at our key level of support at around 78, 77-ish $100. And we see that it's a confluent zone, not just with that horizontal level, but also if we look in the BLX chart, which is the longest running chart of Bitcoin we have. Yeah, Truck Nubs, I do see that as well. I am currently, there's a question on YouTube, or more of a statement that says your screen is a little bit messed up. Yeah, so the live is currently seeing a little bit of a weakness in the network connection. We are fixing that as we speak, but I am getting on that. I've ordered some stuff to basically completely fix that situation. So bear with us for the next few days with this video, at least. Hopefully the thing that we need is here tomorrow. So that will basically mitigate all the problems that we're currently having with the network issues. So thank you very much for your patience, and that will be sorted out in the near term. So going on with our monthly, hopefully you can kind of hear or go on TikTok and see as well. But yeah, we will get that sorted out for our members very shortly. So going back to the charts, we see that we are basically at a level of support that we've been holding since 2010. We've been talking about this every single day, but it's just good to remind everyone, looking at the monthly and weekly, it's very important to take a step back and look at the larger time frames. So on the daily for the CMEs, diving right into now the daily charts, because we've already gone through the weekly and monthly so many times throughout the crypto market updates and BTC market updates that we do very often, we can see that there is a gap right here. Obviously, it's a very talked about gap within the crypto traders and basically the social media platforms, and people know that there's a gap here. So for one, that's a psychological knowing that there's a gap, and the more people that are aware, obviously there's more incentive for the price, and there's an easier, there's a higher probability of the price moving up if there's more people thinking that a gap fill pattern is going to occur. It's just market psychology. So at the end of the day, the big money is what matters. And looking at what we can see right here, just talking about key levels of horizontal support, because that's really all we're doing right here. Is all we're looking at is this horizontal level of support and saying, okay, how well is this holding? How well is this respecting? And also looking at the volume as well. Now, we still do have 4 hours left on this current candle, so we can't completely assess it, but just from what we can see, we can see, we are getting increasing volume coming in. We did get a no demand, which was right here. It had less volume than the two previous candles, and then the next candle was a bearish candle, obviously closed all the way down there. But we saw limited amount of demand come in within this consolidation here, and then now we're back at our support. We're now seeing increasing buy volume coming into the market. This was our first major injection of buy volume on the daily chart, and now we are coming in and testing that same level of support on the 4 hour, on the hour chart. It's very easy to tell we are potentially creating a nice double bottom. We have a well-respected descending trend line on the 15-minute chart that we will discuss. That's a possible entry with a support at this key zone. We can see this was the resistance for the reverse head and shoulders, as well as the support for the consolidation we had after breaking the 9.6K support, 9.7, 9.6, somewhere around there. And then looking all the way back in the spring of 2019, we can see it was a strong level of support that we held as a base before moving up into the above 10K range. So throughout 2019, we can see it was a well-respected zone. So we have to understand that it is going to be a significant zone that we're going to have some reaction to. And that's exactly what happened. We got our first entry with not a solid profit, but a profit from the $7,800 zone and then move up. We caught 2 out of the 4 take profits, and we didn't get all of them, so the 50% was basically taken at the break-even point, and the other 2 were taken at position take profits that we discussed while we were trading. And then now we are back at this zone, creating a similar type of pattern. Now, we've already discussed consolidations in the past and how we're looking for a zone of support and resistance that the price is ranging in, and then we're going to look to try to find a descending trend line to connect the lower highs, squeezing the price closer to the support, and the price has to make a decision. If it's going to continue to consolidate, well, it will then have to break that descending trend line, and that is going to be our edge that we have within the market. That's how we trade a type of situation where you have a major structural support and the price is squeezing closer to the zone. And we'll talk about that on the 4 hour and hour chart. But if that is the case, well then let's just quickly look at what could occur within the market, because let's just say that we're getting a nice little squeeze here. Well, right now we're playing within this consolidation, and if we do get the price to squeeze and then it breaks to the upside, well then if we actually get the price to break this current level of resistance, which is a significant zone, if it's able to break it, it's going to try to come up at least to this zone. Now, we do have a descending trend line connecting the lower highs, so we may just get a candle body closure at that zone and then a wick to touch this area. But a wick is still where price has gone. So if you're setting orders potentially, if you're longing, if you're using OCO orders, or just take profits, if you're using a derivatives exchange, that could be a good opportunity if we do see a push to the upside to try to close that gap here. But like we've seen in the past, gaps do not close instantly. They may take quite a while, so you can't assume that it's instantly going to fill. Now, in that said, if we do break this zone, we have a decently high probability. We do have a resistance zone around here before this gap will get filled, but even from this zone to this zone is a pretty decent amount. So we'll talk about this descending trend line, and we'll look for a potential entry at these zones, and then our first take profit will be that resistance zone. But if we are able to push beyond that area, well, then we will be looking great to potentially extend those take profit areas and extend that risk reward ratio. So now we'll go into the daily chart. We can see we were holding this ascending trend line that we drew in on the Gemini exchange on the daily chart. Let's just talk about it right here. Now, we do still have just under 7 hours for this candle to close. So we don't actually necessarily have to be closing below the zone, because we see an anchor point here. We see that the price actually broke, made a resistance initially, and then we see 1, 2, 3, 4 touches of that zone, and then we see 1, 2, really showing and validating this area as a nice key level of support. And now right now we do have a confluence zone right at this current support that we have right now, hence I am more long bias. We do see the price dip a little bit, which is not a problem, because we're seeing that squeeze come into the market, and we'll only really take action once that squeeze either breaks to the upside or downside. But overall, we do see the price push down below this ascending support. We'll just zoom right in here. So this current candle still has just under 7 hours left, 6 hours and 55 minutes. And we see right now the candle opened right at the zone. We see 2 candle closures above the area, making 2 type Bs. And then the next candle we see right here opened right at the zone and then moved down and is currently below our area of support. Now, we're always going to be waiting for price action to close before we make any biases within the market, because, for example, look at 2 candles prior. We can see that we had a massive push to the downside, but within that same candle, within that same daily time frame, you're getting the bulls to push the price right back up all the way above the support zone, signifying strength. And then if you see the next candle, it didn't push back down. So if you were aiming to short within that day and you're not getting a close, you're going to probably get stopped out. And if you're an intraday trader, you're not only going to look for a daily close, but if you are looking for a larger, more macro view and you want the larger momentum, you want to see the candle closure before creating a bias or solidifying a certain direction or a certain break, because you may get wicked out. You may if you're shorting here, for example, if you see the hour chart respect these zones as a new resistance, maybe 2-3 injections of sell pressure, that may be your signal, and you might get you might get taken out of the trade, because obviously the price moved back up and that's just the way it goes. But at the end of the day, we're not looking to enter right at this very moment. We're only looking to enter when the specific criteria that we've set for ourselves is taken place and has completed. So we'll look at the daily chart when we are looking to enter again, but at this moment right now, we're just spectating. So not much more to talk about on the daily chart. I think if we are able to hold this zone, we are currently below our $8,200 level of resistance, and this is that descending zone that we talked about within the weekly, or at least the CME futures. We have an anchor point right here. I think we just put it up here, but we got 1, 2, 3, so then we got a potential 4th somewhere around this area. If we are able to push back up, potentially we may have to put a projection, and then the next lower high might be a little bit more of a descending trend line than we're looking for. But overall, I do think that we still are making lower highs, as we can see. And for me, the break area that I'd like to see price go above before I look to really like longer term swing trade long would be at least this zone here, if not this major high. On the weekly, we know that this area is a major key level of resistance around 97, 95, somewhere around there. We are looking to short-term long from here to potentially up to this zone. If it does go up, obviously we'll hold on to see that lower high. But I'm not really looking at the market in a bullish way to extend the take profits until we break, probably, like I said, at least this high, or this horizontal level of resistance is for me a major key break to the upside. If we do break that zone, that for me will signify that there is strength in the market. But just breaking this market structure high will signify, in terms of the macro market structure, that things are changing. But right now, we're still below this low. We're still holding below this descending trend line. So on the short term kind of swing trade aspect of things, if we see a push up here, that would be a good day trade. And then I think if we do get a push back up to this zone, maybe right here, if we're going to retest, maybe like that, we do see some level of a zone right here. That would be a good day trade. And then a possible swing trade would be if we do get an entry, if there was a level of confluence here with the descending zone and horizontal zone, for the price probably to consolidate, like maybe so, and then we'll maybe get a push up. We don't exactly know, but overall we don't want to think too far ahead. But the main trade we're looking for is just from support to resistance at this very moment. So not a whole lot more to talk about on the 4-hour chart for the Heikin Ashi. I think we're just going to go straight to the candlesticks here, because we're just in a consolidation and we're looking from low to high basically. So yet again, we can see key level of the $7,800 zone getting tested for a nice level of support yet again, and we see the lower highs coming in, making a nice area where we have a squeeze in price. Like we can see, we got an area where there's going to be buyers within a market, and then we also have a zone where sellers have been present. So it's not going to be perfect. We can really easily see it on the 1-hour time frame that we'll go to next. But what we're looking for is the price to consolidate and come into the apex of the pattern, or the end of the funnel, I guess you could say. And then we have a support here held twice, 2 main times on the 4-hour, 1 time right here, 2nd time right here. So now we're coming in to test for a 3rd time, and then once we're able to break above the descending resistance, we'll hopefully get some level of a pullback, validating the previous resistance as a new level of support. We're looking for no supplies. We're looking for that VSA confirmation, as well as market structure and price action, and then we'll look to enter. First level will take profit. As we can see, it's a key level of resistance right around here, so that's definitely going to be a area that we will want to potentially take profit on, because we know that it has rejected the price in the past. Like I said, if we get above it, we do have a pretty key zone at around 85, as we can see, key level of previous level of support. It could be a new level of resistance in a confluence zone, like we can see if we zoom out on the 4-hour time frame. We do have a bit of a zone here, or a descending channel, I guess I could say. We got an anchor point, and we got 1 and then 2, like we talked about in the past. And then we got our support turning into new resistance. This is a confluence zone because we have the descending zone and the horizontal zone, creating an area where there's going to be a higher dependability of sellers within a market. So that's basically what we're going to be looking at for first level to take profit. And this is our trade right here. We'll talk about the 1-hour, but we're looking for a squeeze, push up, first level will take profit. If it goes above, second level will take profit. We'll probably have a stop loss below this zone. Now, we're not entered yet. We still are speculating that the price is going to hold this $7,800 zone. We don't want to put too much bias in the market that we're not able to be flexible. But looking at the 1-hour now, or the, I guess, 15-minute, we can see that, yes, it's a pretty dependable pattern, and we'll talk about it right now. Do see the market here dropping a little bit, but last time we did see the same thing, and then we recovered pretty quickly here. So this was that last trade that we took. This was that descending zone. It's not perfect. We hit those highs, but you get the idea of where we went, and then we entered right around here, and then made a move up, and then obviously we didn't hit all of our targets, because this was the final target right there. We couldn't hit it. I think that still will be the final target for us within this breakout. If we are able to hold like we did last time, like so. We got our first dump down, and then we got our second, and then we held, we broke the descending zone, and then we made a move to the upside. Same thing here. We're not going to enter right away. We want to see the price hold this zone. I don't mind if it's going to go down a little bit lower because we're looking at the 15-minute chart. On the 4-hour, it's just going to be a wick down. I don't mind. All these were wicks down on the on the 1-hour. So in my opinion, I'm not really worried about that little bit. I'm not going to be looking to short this little move down at all. I'm looking to be very, very patient, waiting for the price to start to come to me. I want to see the price break. For one, the price action, which is our first thing that we want to see. I want to see number 2, market structure. I want to see it making a higher high and then a higher low. It doesn't have to be all that as high as up to the here, but I want to see the price make a higher high and then a higher low. I want to enter on that higher low once we have confirmation that there is buyers in the market looking to enter and that have already entered previously, seeing injections of buy volume. The last thing we're looking for is the VSA, the volume spread analysis. We're looking for more buyers entering the market and reduction of sellers. Ideally, we would also have some no supplies that would indicate a lack of supply within the market, creating a shift where the demand is now going to take charge and will hopefully get a potential move towards the upside. So we'll see how it plays out. We're not really looking to enter just yet, but that is my overall outlook on the potential trade that we're going to have for Bitcoin. I'm not really going to be looking to short. I'm not wanting, but my bias is that this support is going to hold and we're going to see a break in this descending trend line, and we're going to be entering after the completion of the higher low, after the break of the descending trend line, when we see price action confirmation. Now, with VSA confirmation as well. So volume is, to me, not as important as market structure or price action for that matter, because volume is not going to be perfect because each exchange has their own volume. It's not like, for example, a stock where you can get all the data in a central location, whereas in cryptocurrencies, you can trade on Bybit, BitMEX, Binance, Kraken. There's so many different exchanges, and the smaller exchange you use, the harder it is to actually depend on any volume, as you can see down here, because obviously it's not going to resemble the actual buying and selling going on from the main contributors of the movements. They might be, but if you're using a smaller exchange, most likely not. So that's just something to keep in mind. But for shorts, I don't really want to be looking for short biases at this moment. Looking at the 4-hour, we do see this descending trend line connect the lower high, or the lower lows, sorry. We can see anchor point of a resistance, and then we see 1, 2, 3. These are type C, so it's not super respected. And then we see some type B's, which is good, another some type B's, and not a perfect type A, and then we see some type B and a type C as well. So it's a pretty well respected zone, not absolutely perfect, but we do see that it's a respected descending channel. We do have another level of support right around here if the price does dip down below this area. So in my personal opinion, I'm not really looking to short. I'm looking for longs. I'm looking for that descending trend line to break, and I'm looking for the move to the upside to retest this support, if not this support here. So that's my bias. If the market doesn't break the descending trend line, I will not enter. If it breaks to the upside and then fakes out and then falls back down, I'm probably going to be for a loss. I'll try to minimize my risk, but I have a pretty good understanding of what I'm wanting to do, and I'm looking for confirmation of that. I'm also looking for negative filters that is going to tell me that the trade is not setting up to be what I'm wanting to have. And that would be A, for example, not breaking this zone. B, if it does break the descending projection, but it doesn't make a higher high, that for me is also a red flag that's saying it's not able to break a key level of resistance. But We'll see what the market does. We're seeing it's getting picked back up pretty quick by the buyers here on the 15-minute chart. On the hour chart, I don't really think we discussed the hour chart, but we've already discussed the 15-minute, which is basically exactly what we're seeing right here. So on the hour chart, very, very easy double bottom identification. What we're looking for is an entry kind of close to that $7,800 support. Hopefully we get a push to the upside and a pullback, validating this descending zone as a new level of support, also in confluence with our current level of support that we've had in the past. So that's basically the trade. First level, we'll take profit, as we can see at the double top. We're currently in a consolidation. We don't want to 100% assume that we're going to be breaking the 82, maybe 8170-ish $100 level of resistance. We can't assume that, so we're wanting to take some level of take profit here, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, we just have to let the price action speak while it plays out. We don't want to speak for the price action. We want to take the information that the market gives us and analyze it in an unbiased way, and be able to be dynamic and not marry trend lines, not marry key zones that you think cannot break. Even for me, we said that $7,800 is a key level. That doesn't mean that I'm assuming that this will never break. It could break 100%. That's why we're not entering right now, is because we don't have confirmation of a break in trend, of this descending trend line. We're not entering randomly. We're entering at, in our opinion, is the highest probability situation that we can find with a shift in trend. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for high confluence confirmation zones that we've had be dependable areas in the past that we can use, that are potentially going to be dependable areas in the future. Also, just a quick question before we go into the crypto market updates, the BTC market updates tool side, where we're looking at the supply and demand. Juan said, who is speaking, Keith or who? Yeah, it is Keith. Martin said, me, it's me. We got 7 people on 7 people on YouTube, which is great, and we got 10 people on TikTok. So we'll now go to the supply and demand that we're currently seeing within just Bitfinex exchange. We see that the buyers not really picking up any more margin trades for the long side. You know, we did see a little bit of pickup, but that amount of positions that are open basically got closed right away. Not many people interested in taking margin long trades on Bitfinex right now. Looking at the short side, we did see a little bit of a spike in yesterday, obviously because of the move down, or I guess a few days ago because of the move down. But we have seen a halt because the price has held this $7,800 zone well, or $7,700 zone well. So we do see that there's a hesitation now from the bears to try to push this price down, because the bulls, the buyers, the buy pressure is able to hold this level of support quite well. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see if the buyers are able to start accumulating more trades, more margin trades on Bitfinex. If that is the case, if we get a consolidation similar to what we saw here, well, then obviously we could then see the rise of the long side margin trades start opening again, like we saw in the previous 2 times, in the previous pushes that we saw. So looking at the long-term picture, it's looking pretty favorable. We know that we've hit this consolidation before in the past, so we're not in no man's land. We're in an area where we've seen buy pressure come and hold the price before, so we'll see how it goes. And then we already talked about the sell side. We saw a little bit of a spike, but there's definitely a little bit of a hesitation with the price coming right back down. So we'll see where it goes, but for now, there's definitely a little bit of hesitation from the sellers, because the $7,700 zone is pretty key. Last thing we're going to go into for Bitcoin is going to be the long and short trades that are opened as a percentage. So it's going to be out of 100. For example, on Bybit, if there is 52% longs. There's 52% of the trades that are open are going to be long, and then there would be 48, because it's out of 100, there's going to be 48% of people that are short, if that makes sense. So this is going to be looking at 3 different exchanges, both on the 1 hour and 24-hour time frame. So we're going to look at BitMEX, Binance, and Bybit. We're going to first look at the 24-hour time frame to see the larger time frame view of both the buyers and sellers within the market. First thing is BitMEX, because it has the largest volume, the most volume. A little bit more on the sell side, 53% on the sell side, 47% on the long side, a little bit more short bias. Binance is basically break even, 50.8 on the short side, so a little bit more on the shorts, but pretty well break even. And Bybit as well, 0.5% difference, basically break even. So not a huge discrepancy on the 24-hour time frame. The 1 hour time frame, there's definitely a little bit more discrepancy towards the sell side. BitMEX is almost at 60% more weighted towards the short side, 59.8%, so that's pretty significant. Binance is also weighted towards the short side, 56.3%, whereas there is 43.6% on Binance, 43.7%, and then on Bybit is going to be the last one. Again, weighted towards the sell side, 54% on the sell side for Bybit. So definitely a little bit more weighted towards the sell side right now, but it does look like we are holding this zone. It does make sense. We made a strong push to the downside, a strong impulse push, because we had our initial impulse push right here, push, correction, push. And now if we're going to hold this, going to make a correction, and then that correction is going to be an impulse move, because an impulse move, there has to be an impulse move to push the price above or below a major zone. You can't have a correction break a zone. You got to have a strong, confident move break a key zone on a chart. So if this breaks to the downside and we're actually going to break this support level, that would be a push. But if it's going to hold it, that would then be an attempt of a push, and then if we then move to the upside and break the descending zone, well, then that is our impulse push, and then we're going to look for the correction now to make that higher low, so then we can enter the market. So we got a good specific criteria that we're going to be looking for if that occurs. So no more questions on our YouTube, and we're going to quickly check TikTok, and then we will go over the different markets within the crypto sector here. We got a bunch of different alts that we will be going over. Mainly, I do think that the best opportunity that we currently see right now in the short-term time frame is going to be either BTC or Ethereum. Ethereum has a very similar price action structure, so we'll get into that very shortly. First, I'm just going to get a drink of water and then a little bit of coffee, and then we'll go on to the different alts within the market. If you got any questions, drop them in the TikTok. I will be covering the comments within the TikTok before moving on to the alts. So, Martini, Fruit Suit, said, wouldn't going short make more sense? So, it depends on what time frame, it depends on many factors, but in my personal view, I like to have a 3-pillar confirmation approach to my trading. I look for price action confirmation, so a break in a descending or ascending zone or horizontal zone, giving me structure within the consolidation I'm trading. So I'm looking for simple price action patterns, triangles, so like ascending, descending, symmetrical, wedges, channels, head and shoulders, reverse head and shoulders, all this stuff. Those simple price action patterns is what I look for. And I also look for market structure. I'm looking for a series of lower lows and lower highs for a descending zone, higher highs and higher lows for a bullish move. And then obviously consolidation, you're not seeing any higher highs, you're not seeing lower lows, and that is what I currently see in the market. I'm not seeing any lower lows past the $7,700 zone. If I see the price break the $7,700 zone, hold the descending trend that we're currently holding, that would be, for me, a lower low. Then we're looking for a lower high to form, so then we can enter at the completion of the exhaustion move. We're not trying to enter at the completion of the push. Every breakout is a push. You're not going to get a breakout from a consolidation. You're going to get a breakout from a push. So after a push comes an exhaustion. So if we are looking to short, we would need to get a push down below the $7,700 zone, which would be a push to the downside. We're looking for an exhaustion. Well, that exhaustion would hopefully retest that previously broken zone for a lower high. Now, we also have the confluence zone around this area because we not only have the horizontal zone of sensitivity, but we also have the descending zone that is holding the lower highs, which is creating our zone of confluence for the next lower high. So that would be, for me, the highest probability situation for a short opportunity. At this point, we've been holding the support 3 separate times on a large time frame, giving us validation and dependability of this zone. This tells us that we're getting a squeeze. What we're waiting for at this point is the price to give us a confirmation of a break, either to a upside or downside. We're not taking action until we wait until we have a break in a either resistance or support. So our bias is a little bit more bullish, yes, but at the end of the day, we're not going to be touching either the buy or sell until we have confirmation. So I hope that explains to you what we're waiting for. We're not just randomly looking to long. We have a specific approach, a systematic method that we are able to use every single time to structure our approach to the markets. I hope I explained that in a way that makes sense and in a systematic way that is easily digestible. So yes, it would make sense if we made a lower low and a lower high. But at this point, we haven't made a lower low yet, so I'm not going to enter. The market structure does not tell me that we've made a lower low, so to me, it doesn't make sense to short. But I understand your approach because the momentum is to the downside if you're looking at the daily and 4-hour. But in my opinion, we are seeing some bulls hold this zone. So that's my approach to it. That's basically all the questions we have within our TikTok section. And I've already answered the questions within our YouTube. So now we will go over the different alts within the market that we currently have. Starting with the top left, I'm going to get a little bit of coffee and water, and then we'll proceed with the video. All right. So got 7 people on YouTube and 12 people on TikTok. That's a pretty good turnout here. So, the next series of alts we'll be going over is XRP, Link, Binance Coin, Ethereum, and EOS. Those are the alts that we'll be going over within this next part of the video. But we do have to keep in mind what Bitcoin is doing. Just a reminder, Bitcoin is going to be the market leader. It is going to be the number one asset that is going to move the prices of every single other alt within the market. You have to keep in mind. Now, in that said, there are alts that can explode up and move up significantly without Bitcoin seeing any real significant price appreciation. But this is where it comes in. If Bitcoin is going to move down, the down moves of Bitcoin have more weight and will carry the price down of other alts more than the price appreciation of Bitcoin, if that makes sense. So if Bitcoin jumps up in value significantly, that doesn't necessarily mean that all the alts will all jump up at around the same rate, if not higher, because of the increased volatility. There's no real correlation there that we've found just by sheer experience through being in the markets every single day. But in terms of the down moves, there is a significant correlation within the major alts, especially the ones that we're trading, where if Bitcoin does make a significant move to the downside, a pullback, there's going to be a similar move of the bears taking control, pushing the price back down to major supports or even breaking supports, pushing them back down lower. So there's definitely a relationship there that you have to build over time, and some pairs will be less correlated with BTC than others. For example, Litecoin and Ethereum, very correlated with BTC. Link is less correlated with BTC that we've found, and smaller alts as well. OE Shim says, if the bears don't push past the support, then should we see a big push to the upside then? Yeah, definitely check out the video. We've already talked about Bitcoin, so it will be within the BTC market update. We're now going into the crypto market update. So the first coin, the first pair that we're going to be looking at is going to be Link. Now, we already talked about Link yesterday looking at the 4-hour chart. We made a move to the downside, so we are now below our ascending level of support. We'll just talk about the market structure and kind of leave it at that. What we're really looking for Link at this moment is we see a very well-respected descending zone that we're currently holding. Now, we could connect these lows here and make another zone, which we may do, but at the end of the day, we're looking for this current zone to break, or we could just make this projection a little bit wider here. But overall, we're looking for this descending zone to break. Once that breaks, well, then we have a higher probability situation of a long, because we can see there's a descending zone here, breaks to the upside, moves up. Once we break this zone, we're looking to enter. And we already talked about this zone that we've held the higher lows here. We broke that zone. We're probably going to be making a low to this zone here. I think if we do get the price to hit this area of support around $3.50, that is a phenomenal support buy opportunity if we get confirmation. Look at what we saw here. We're not entering trying to get this market right here. We could be entering after we see a push up and we see a pullback on a smaller time frame, or even after the bullish push that we saw right here, like so. What's actually very significant, as you can see right here, is look at how much volume we have within the buy volume. We see for one, increasing buy volume significantly. Excuse me. And then number two, we see that there is a very lack of sell volume. There is a no supply candle right after. So there's a very limited amount of supply coming back down compared to the amount of buy volume pushing back up at our key level of support. So if we get something similar to this, we'll look in the smaller time frames. But if we get around the $3.50 range, I'm very, very interested in a long opportunity for Link, unless the market just absolutely plummets right below it, like so. If we get some sort of hesitation like here, I'll definitely look at the smaller time frames and we'll be looking here. But for now, I'm not really looking for any entries. This whole area right here, it's kind of no man's land. I don't really want to be entering. Right here would be something I'd be wanting to enter right around here, because obviously it's close to the support. And then if we get the price to come back like this, we could get the price to come back down below this zone, and then there would be a short opportunity here with a stop loss here, take profit here. But really at the end of the day, I'm just mainly looking for this, like I said, descending zone to get broken, so then we can get a potential breakout, kind of like we saw in this descending zone here. So once that happens, that's great. Until that happens, I'm not really looking to take any trades on Link. So I'll change this up a little bit just so I have a little bit wider of a zone I'm working with, like so. Not going to be perfect, but basically we see a nice double top opportunity if the price does go down below this zone. We might see a false breakout, but at the end of the day, like I said, I'm waiting for this descending zone to break before we really take any opportunities on Link. Because we're at such a high, because we're so long biased on Link, it does tend to move pretty significantly if it does gain a lot of, or even a small amount of momentum. It can really, really pick up very, very quickly. There is somehow a surge of buy volume in Link that many alts don't see a lot of the time. So, just look where it is now. It's basically almost at all-time high right here, and look at the rest of the alts. So just shows you the strength from the buyers in this pair. Next thing we're going to be looking at is going to be XRP on the 4-hour here. We see the price consolidate. We've already talked about this yesterday, how we're just basically in between a key level of resistance and support. We can see we do have a key level of resistance around 0.199, and we also have a strong level of support around 0.184. So we're just within a consolidation. If we are looking for potential opportunity, we could be looking at the same thing that we are on BTC by drawing a descending zone. We probably could on the 15-minute chart if we really wanted to. There's a pretty nice area right here. Maybe if we draw on this zone, let's just see if that works. So that's an opportunity. So then we'd be looking for a potential break down here maybe if the price is just going to consolidate further. And if it does break the area of support, so we'll just talk about market structure, because a lot of these alts are going to be in similar price action structures where we're consolidating and we're holding a descending zone. So we're just going to talk about market structure for this one. So then this is how we're going to approach basically every single market structure where we're in a consolidation, holding a descending zone to the downside. Because right now we are squeezing towards the apex, which is right here with a descending zone, as we can see, and a horizontal level of support. So we're going to come towards the apex, and the price has to do something, either to the upside or it has to move to either to the upside or to the downside. If it moves to the upside, we're going to break the price action. That's number one. We're looking for market structure. So let's say we then come like this, and then we form a nice high. We're going to look to break that higher high, and then we're going to look to form that higher low. That is market structure confirmation number two. And then we're going to look for volume like always. That's our upside opportunity for XRP. Short side, we're going to look for a lower low. Right now we're holding 1, 2, 3, 4 lows. So we know that this is a key level of support that we're currently holding, that buyers are going to be located. We're seeing the price come to this zone. We don't want to enter short when we only have this much room for our next support zone. Why would we do that? We want to wait for confirmation. So we're looking for the price to break this zone, form a lower low. Once it forms a lower low, it's probably going to form some sort of lower high. Like, see, this is a lower high, lower high, lower high. It does come down here. It's going to probably form some sort of lower high, and then we'll be able to enter on that lower high before the next move down for our next level of support. So if we're just looking at percentages here, if we're entering kind of around here, if we're able to get that pullback, we got a take profit, let's say of 5-6-ish%, and then we're maybe risking 2.5-ish%. So in risk reward, if we're looking at a risk reward of 2 to 3, that's pretty good. 3 to 4 obviously is great. A risk reward of 3 or 4 is a really, really good risk reward that you should be trying to aim or attain if you're trying to get a really solid risk reward. But above 2 is a decent risk reward. You can't really complain. 2.5 is pretty good, and then 3 is where it starts getting real juicy. But that's the overall structure and potential for XRP. We're basically going to be patient until one of two things happen. BTC making a move to the downside, but like we've seen before, the market has come down to these lows and pushed back up. So we, like I said, don't want to put too much emphasis on, oh my god, it broke, we got to enter short right now because it broke to the downside. Like, patience. Like, have a try to understand the story that the price is telling you, and then go with that. Now, in that said, if it does break and hold, and if, like we've already explained, the short side opportunity for XRP, so you do have to have potential situations on multiple alts, but it still looks like a good opportunity, either to the long side or short side, in my opinion. It's looking pretty good. So we'll see where it goes. We're still seeing the buyers hold the price. Next alt that we're going to be looking at is going to be BNB, which is going to be Binance Coin paired with US Tether. So right now, seeing the price kind of dropping below our key level of support. We can see that 1650-ish zone is our key level of support. On the daily, it did hold, but on the current daily, it looks like it's breaking below that zone right now. Depends on how this candle closes. On the 4 hour, it's looking like it's dipping below, but like we can see before, it hasn't dipped below the previous low. So currently, we're still holding within the market structure. We haven't made a lower low, so we're just basically going like this. So we want to see if it's going to break that low. Right now, we're just holding that market structure. Like we said before, we could draw that descending zone within the price action here as well, I'm sure, like so. But we're going to stick with Ethereum and BTC because those are going to be the main market leaders. And we'd like to trade the main asset instead of trying to trade an alt, trying to create a sympathy play. To me, if it's a trending market, that's phenomenal. But for situations where it's in consolidation, it may just be easier to trade the market leader, in my opinion. Anyways, that's kind of the way I approach the market, and everyone's different. But it's been working for me, so that's just the way I do it. Ethereum is going to be the next pair we're going to be looking at. Let's go back to the 4-hour here and discuss the current situation that we have. So we're holding a nice level of support. We did break below it. We still have 2 hours or a little over 2 hours left on this current 4-hour candle. So that means that we could push back above, holding or leaving just a wick as a trace, showing that there is buyers within the market pushing the price back up. So we will have to see how this 4-hour candle closes. Looking at the overall outline of the supports and resistances that we are using, we can see it was a key level of resistance back in 2019, as we can see, and then we held that as resistance before blasting off back in February, and now we are testing that zone as a nice level of support again. So we know that this level is a nice area where buyers have been located before, and then we got our next level of resistance where the previous support was right here. So we're currently stuck in a range between resistance and support. We have broken below it, but like we said, we still have 15 minutes on this 1-hour chart. We will want to see how this closes inevitably. If it does close, this could possibly be the opportunity for a short trade if the market is unable to break the descending zone for BTC. We'll have to see how that plays out. But for now, we're going to stay patient and wait for the price to kind of give us more of a confirmation. We do see increasing sell volume and a lot of sell volume coming in. So if the price action continues to the downside, we do see more sell volume coming in on BTC. So if it does pull back to this zone, that would theoretically give me enough criteria to enter a short on Ethereum. But we will want to see how Bitcoin is acting when Ethereum is at these levels. So I will notify the Performante Premium members if we do get a lower high to form, if we do get decreasing buy volume while we're getting the pullback, and then that obviously would be a really, really good sign. That would be a good short. So we'll see how the price action looks while we come closer to a potential entry, and we'll let the Performante Premium members know when we are getting to that area. Just getting a little bit of coffee here, and then we'll continue the last analysis on EOS paired with US Tether. All right, so the current price is at a major level of support. We can see key level of both resistance, support, support, resistance. And if we zoom out further, I'm sure you can find more areas. Support, resistance, as we can see. Key levels within a chart, right? So we know that's a strong level of support. Same as many others, we're seeing the price squeeze closer to the level of support. On the 1 hour, it's even more visible of this descending zone. So we're basically just waiting for the price to break out of this area. You know, if we're looking for an entry at the level of support, if we're playing a little risky, you could play it, and then you got maybe 5-6% to play with if you do get an entry here. But obviously, that's a very, very risky trade compared to if you were wait for this to actually break in a certain direction. And that's what I'll be basically waiting for, is a break either to a support or a resistance, and then we will act accordingly. Like we see in Ethereum here, we already break to the downside, so this is a little bit more of a short opportunity because it's a front runner. It is front running some of the other pairs like EOS, who hasn't broken the trend line, like BNB, who hasn't broken the support, I should say, or the support here, and then XRP hasn't broken the support either. So Ethereum currently is a front runner. It is front running the different patterns that we see within the market. We see that many of the different alts have not broken their key level of support, but Ethereum already has. So If we're looking for shorts, if we're looking for pullbacks, Ethereum would be the play. And then if we don't get an entry on Ethereum, and if the price continues to go to the downside, well, then you got XRP, Binance, and EOS to all have potential shorts on. So basically, same structure, same situation. We're just looking for that next leg down. So hopefully you enjoyed this crypto market update. That's basically all we're going to talk about. We will go and dive into the questions that we have now on TikTok. There isn't really any more questions that we have on our YouTube. So thank you very much for watching, everyone who has. And we'll just basically dive into the questions here on TikTok. So sounds good. Thanks for the explanation. Yeah, no problem. What do I do in this market? I bought a stock or two, but I continue to crash with Dow. I'm not a financial advisor. I cannot give you financial advice on exactly what stocks to buy. We have our own approach and our own method of trying to seize the opportunity that the current market is providing. Not just like day-to-day, but more long-term wealth shifts. And we do talk about that within a free book that you are able to get within our Discord. Absolutely free. You can just go to the Start Here discussion. I'll just go on our YouTube, or our Discord, on our YouTube here. Start Here, and then Modern Finance. Just a quick little read to get started with what our view of the markets, why we think it's bearish, why we think it'll continue, and where we think the money will flow. Good book to read if you want our view. Set it all. What's going to... Oh, I think I missed a few questions here. Give me one moment. Do you have... Okay, so I got that question. When going... Got that question. Sounds good. Okay, set it all. I'm all cash. Yeah, I'm personally not, but you're prepared, man. That is good to be prepared. Rather all cash than all equities, in my opinion, at this point. It's good to be holding cash. What do I do? Okay, so... Right, that the price is telling me this is a correction. Sell all your shit and hold cash. Yeah, not gonna comment on that. But anyways, thank you very much for the engagement and the continued support here for our company. We got not really much else to talk about within this this market here. But I'll probably do a crypto market update, because if we are able to get a short, that actually would be a good opportunity. If BTC holds and falls down below. Because Ethereum looks pretty good. But what we'll do is we'll update everyone within a live, just a day trading live session, because those can be more long. And then I'm trying to make these crypto market updates more education focused. So that's basically the end. Trucknub says, thank you for the continued education. No problem. I really hope that you guys are enjoying these live updates every single day. It helps me explain my view of the markets a lot more clear and in a easier to illustrate format. B, I just think that it's easier to digest as information through video. Overall, I just think it's a better way to go about providing education and providing value and providing knowledge. So thank you very much yet again, and until next time, have a good one.